Peeps, what is up? Last time we were right here and we were talking about hobbies. And what are the positive aspects of hobbies? I think about hobbies, and like I mentioned before, one of my favorite hobbies is playing chess. And playing chess actually takes me back to my youth. When you say take you back to your youth, it means you do something that makes you think of your childhood. And with that being said, that's one of the topics of hobbies we're going to discuss today. Take it back to your childhood. I really believe playing hobbies does take us back to our childhood. If you don't know where to begin, think back to what you loved doing as a kid. Those were the times you were wild and free, and you didn't do something unless you really, really loved it. Chances are you still have a lot of those same core interests. Craft blogger Sarah White at Lifehack suggested, are there things you enjoyed as a kid that you might still enjoy as an adult? Maybe you had an awesome record collection, loved to sew clothes for your dolls, or were always put out on a bike. Those are all the things you could pick up again as an adult that would make great hobbies. This doesn't mean you're about to go play hopscotch or creep everyone out at the sandbox. Instead, use it as a springboard to discover what you love doing. If it was tree climbing, maybe you could try wall climbing. If it was running through the backwoods of your house, try hiking. It's a starting point. It doesn't have to be the exact thing you did as a kid, but it can be something that takes you back to your youth. So, what do you do now by doing this? You're enjoying your time, you're using your spare time in a positive aspect, you're doing something you loved as a child and you still love to do, and it makes you think of the years that have passed. Try a couple of ideas on for size. If you're stumped where to begin, throw yourself into the options and see how you respond to them. Sometimes doing something easy as walking around a crafts or sports store can get you thinking. Blogger White recommended, if something from your past doesn't immediately jump out at you, it might be useful to hit the craft store, the sporting goods store, or the nearest music emporium or bookstore. Browse around and see what captures your attention. Maybe you find yourself drawn to the cookbooks or the scrapbook section. This can give you a clue as to what you might be interested in. Sometimes you have to physically see an option to get yourself curious again. So go do some recon and work in the store details. And, of course, the store aisles. What this is telling us is to go to a store, look around the store, and see what interests you, what jumps out at you. When something jumps out at you, it means like, whoa, that's nice. Whoa, that's interesting. The first time I saw the new BMW 4 Series, it really jumped out at me. It doesn't mean it's physically jumping out, it means it catches your attention. Choose something that will make you forget about your day. If you're not into the idea of picking up a hobby just to occupy your downtime, try to think of something that makes you forget about the stresses and worries of your day. It should be something that helps you unwind and slip back into balance. If crocheting or learning a language feels like it would work, then that's not the hobby for you. When you find something that gives you a sense of me time and answers to your personality and interests, you'll find something that's more than just an activity. It'll help enhance your life. You understand everything? Now, if you don't understand anything, go back and read this. Now, this may seem a little hard. If crocheting or learning a language feels like it would be work, then that's not the hobby for you. What? What does that mean? A hobby should not feel like work. If something feels like work, then don't do it as a hobby. Because hobby should be something that relaxes you, that eases your stress, that takes your mind off everyday stress. Now let's look at some expressions with spare. Let's start with spare time. The time when one is not working. Free time. He likes to ski in his spare time. In my spare time, I like going to the gym. Listen closely. Thanks for sparing your time. The person gave you time from their day to do something for you. Do you understand? Listen, I need to speak to you. Do you have any spare time? Remember, spare, okay, comes from the word extra, like a spare tire. A spare tire is in the trunk of your car or underneath your car, and that's something extra. So, spare time means extra time. Thanks for sparing your time means thank you for giving me some extra time to talk to you. Spare someone or yourself the trouble. To prevent someone from having to experience something difficult or unpleasant. I wanted to spare them the trouble of buying me a present. To spare someone or yourself the trouble means you help them in a difficult or a very bad situation to make it better. This one's really cool. A spare tire. Now, I just talked about a spare tire in a car, but a spare tire can also mean that fat around someone's stomach. Ever see someone there like this, the big belly sticking out? A layer of excess fat around one's midsection. I think I need to lay off the junk food because this spare tire of mine is getting a bit out of hand. Now, I'm going to teach you guys an extra expression. When something gets out of hand, it doesn't mean you can't, it's not in your hand, but it actually does. Remember, I have this in my hand, so I control this, right? Why? Because it's in my hand. But if I threw it over there, then it's out of my hand. It means I don't have control of it. Out of hand, meaning out of control. Things got a little out of hand at the party, and 3 windows were broken. He went to see his doctor because he felt like his drinking was getting out of hand. When something is out of your control or getting out of control, you can say out of hand. You know, my wife has told me to stop spending money. My spending is getting out of hand. I have to stop eating ice cream at night. It's getting out of hand. I'm eating too much ice cream. I hope your English learning is never getting out of hand. I love you guys and see you soon with a new video. And don't forget, I love you like a fat kid loves cake, of course.